Hi, this is Aisling from Computer Tutor based in Dublin in Ireland, and this is a short video to show you how to create a simple Excel spreadsheet using both the sum and the product functions. So to start, first we're going to open Microsoft Excel, and when you get to Excel you can either create a new file or open an existing one. And in this case I have prepared one, so I'm going to open the recently used one that I prepared. Okay, now when you come into Excel, each of these columns has got a label that's a letter, and each of the rows has a label that's a number. So this cell that's highlighted at the moment is cell A3, and you can see that it's written up here as well. And to start typing in and create your spreadsheet, simply tap twice, double click on the cell that you want to start entering information into. And when you want to get to the next cell over to add information into that, you can simply use the tab key, which is on the left hand side of the keyboard. Now I've actually prepared, here's one I prepared earlier. I've prepared a table with some content just to save a little bit of time. So all of this information I just literally tabbed from column to column and then clicked onto the next row when I want to go to the next row. You can see that we have some information that it isn't displayed in full because the cell is too narrow. So one of the first things we can do to fix that is to expand the column. And if you hover between the two columns that you want to expand one of them, and you get the little arrow, the vertical line with the two arrows, if you double click and drag it over to the right, we can create enough space for all of the words in this section. If we didn't want to do that and instead wanted to keep the height or keep the width of the column the same, but we're willing to make the row higher or taller, we can instead select the row and choose wrap text. And what that does, as you can see in the first column, it maintains the width of the row, but it expands the size of the row, the width of the column, but it expands the height of the row to facilitate both the words item and name being displayed. So it's really about how much information you want to be shown on the screen, and where it's appropriate to have a wide column versus a narrow one. I'm going to add a little bit of formatting to this just to make it stand out. So I'm going to select the title row and just add a little bit of color so that it kind of pops off the page a bit more. And I'm also going to use the text formatting tools up here to bold the names. Again, just to make it stand out a little bit, and I'm going to make them a little bit bigger as well. Okay, so this is a very it's a mock-up of a spreadsheet that might be used in a myriad different ways. In this case, the idea is I'm painting a room. I can see now that I haven't got enough space for the full description of the second item there, so I've just expanded it again. So in this case, I'm just looking to tot up how much it's going to cost me in terms of materials to paint a room. So I've got 3 items: paint, masking tape, and the paintbrushes. I've got descriptions of them here just so that I know exactly which items I'm talking about. This is the cost of each one of them, and this is the number of units I need of each one of them. Now, because this is a cost, it's actually a currency, I'm going to change the format of this column. Going to go into format cells. I've right clicked and going into format cells, and I'm just going to tell the computer, if you like, that this is actually a currency. 2 decimal places is fine, and it means that the Excel will automatically put those euro signs in front of my numbers and add in the decimal points as well, so it's just clearer that this is actually based on price or money amount. Okay, so now I just want to figure out how much is it going to cost me to purchase all of that paint. So I want to multiply the cell that's here, which is C4, and I want to multiply it by the number of units that I need, which is D4. So to multiply those two together, I go up to the formula row up at the top. I type equals, and the simplest way of doing this is simply to type in the individual cells that I want to multiply. So it's D4, oops, I've actually made a mistake. So it's C4, well, it wouldn't have been a mistake, but anyway, okay, so I want C4 by D4. Excel is showing me that these are the cells that I've chosen, just so I can make sure that they are the correct ones. So we've got a multiplication. If I press enter, it's now showing me that the total cost for 3 tins of 5 litre matte finish paint at €35 each is going to be €105. Now, we know that we want to do the same multiplications here and here. So if we click on this cell here and hover over the bottom right hand side till you get this sort of bolded black cross, you can double click on that and drag it down to the 2 cells below, and it copies the formula that we have put in here down to these ones. So if you look, if I click on this, I can see this one is actually set to be C5 by D5, which is 8 by 2. And the same then for the paintbrushes, which is simple in this case, it's just 10 multiplied by 1. So that's using the product formula. It's multiplying 2 different cells, and then we were able to drag that formula down the columns so that we can get the, replicated across the different rows. Okay, the last thing I'm going to do is just to get a total cost for all of the materials for painting the room. Just going to pop the word total in there so that it's clear. I'll give it a quick bold. And if I click here, Excel provides you with a shortcut for adding up rows of consecutive numbers and columns as well. And if you come over here to the right hand side and you choose auto sum, because I'm requesting an auto sum for this particular cell, Excel will anticipate that it's likely that it's the 3 numbers above that I want to add. It shows me the flashing box around it just so that I know that this is what it's predicting and it's going to choose for me. So I just have to press enter or click away, and it has shown me, it's provided me with the sum of E4 to E6, which is E4 down to E6, which is exactly what I wanted. The colon there in between the 2 cell names or identifiers, if you like, that means from E4 to E6. And if I change that, in fact, to a comma, instead of giving me a span from E4 to E6, it will just include E4 and E6. And you can see now it's highlighting just these 2 cells. If I press enter, my number changes, and it's no longer including the €16 in the middle. So again, I'm just going to go back to what it was before. I'm going to click where I want the sum to be. I'm going to choose auto sum, this big E over on the right hand side. It's chosen those 3 for me as being the most sensible. I press enter, and now I have my grand total. Okay, so that's the basics for creating a spreadsheet, fixing the widths of the columns. You can do the same things with the rows by hovering between 2 row numbers, entering in the different items, providing a multiplication or a product using the star symbol, copying them down using the thick arrow or the thick plus sign, and working out your total using the auto sum. Thanks very much. Website is computertutor.ie. Thank you.